Hey guys, welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess and this is my March wrap-up. So, looking back on it, March was not a very good reading month for me. I had a lot of stuff that I was doing as far as like actual things and wasn't able to just sit down and read a lot. So I had 9 books on my March TBR, and of these 9 I was able to finish these bottom 4, and I'm currently in the middle of Stolen by Richard Bell. So yeah, we will be adding these 5 to my April TBR, so yay for that. But yeah, that is what we have. So we'll be talking about these 4 books today, so let's get into it. So we started off this month really strong, and we read a book that I personally loved, and that is Nevermoor, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. So this book follows a girl named Morgan Crow, and she is a cursed child, so she is destined to die on the eve of her 11th birthday. So we get to her 11th birthday, and we're sitting with her and her family around the dinner table, and everybody's kind of like quiet and just sad because obviously she's supposed to die that night. And yeah, it's like basically her last meal. So we're having this sad scene when this eccentric, colorful man named Jupiter North flies in out of nowhere and busts down the door and whisks her away to this magical place called Nevermoor. And when she gets here, she has to compete in these trials to try to join the Wondrous Society, and it's full of just like whimsy and magic and danger, and it's so much fun. I loved the characters in this. I really loved the setting. I thought it was so cute, so imaginative. And yeah, it was a great time. I'm so excited to pick up the rest of this series. Hopefully I can get my hands on them pretty soon. But yeah, this one was a 5 out of 5 stars and I loved it. Am I recording? Yay. The next book that I picked up in the month of March is Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. So this is a sci-fi book that follows 3 different perspectives. Our first one is a girl who is in the lowest class in this world, and she is the daughter of the leader of the big gang that controls everybody basically in the underground, and she is fighting to try to earn passage off of this world they live on because she hates it and she's mistreated and she doesn't want to be there anymore. She's also posing as a boy, so everybody thinks she's a boy. And then we meet our other perspective, who is the son or the grandson of the general. So he is in the 2nd class out of this world because there's a 3-class system. He's in the 2nd class and he is in line to become the next general commander, and he is trying to outlive his father's name. His father was one of the biggest rebels and started this huge uprising that killed a lot of people and has been banned onto the moon, which is like their prison. And so he is trying to outlive his father's name as a traitor, and he's trying to prove that he is actually worth everyone's time and is not a traitor. So we follow him, and then we also follow this other girl who is kind of literally in the underground. She has no place in this society and she's in hiding along with her father and this group of like nun women, and she has no idea how she got there or why she's there. All she knows is she cannot go above ground and no one can know where she is and why she's there. So yeah, we follow a lot of different perspectives from a lot of different viewpoints, and they're all going towards the same thing, which is revolution. This whole world has been run so terribly and everybody wants it gone and wants to kind of take down the hierarchy basically, and so they're all trying to do this in their own way, and it's really cool to watch them all come together. So yeah, that is this one. I loved it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was really enjoyable. I loved the world building. It was very expansive, and hopefully I will be finding the 2nd book soon so that way I can read it and continue on with these characters and this story because I really enjoyed it. The third book that I read in the month of March was Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens by J.M. Barrie. So this is the last half of this book, as this book has both the original Peter Pan story and this one, and it was not very long. It's really short, but I really didn't like it. It was weird. It's a classic, so I'm glad that I read it for that purpose, just to check it off my list basically, but I don't think I will ever pick it up again, and I don't think I would really tell a lot of my friends to read it. Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens is a very weird story. It is supposed to be like the origin story of Peter Pan basically, but we don't see him go to Neverland, we don't see him meet Tinkerbell, we don't get the whole like why Captain Hook hates him, like we don't get any of that. What we get is Peter Pan as a toddler all of a sudden one night flying out of his window. And so he flies out of his window and he lands in Kensington Gardens. And he is on this island and there's birds, and the birds try to help him. Like, the birds kind of take him in, and then he plays the flute even though he's like 4 years old. I don't understand how he can play the flute and like speak in full coherent sentences at 4 years old. It was just really weird. And then he ends up going from the island, and then he realizes that he wants his mom. And so he finds a way across the river and tries to make his way back to his mom. And when he gets there, she has put bars on the window and she has another kid. And so he feels betrayed, and that's where we get Peter Pan not ever wanting to grow up and not trusting adults. And like the whole part in the original Peter Pan when he's telling Wendy like, your parents don't actually love you, we get where that comes from at least. But we don't get anything else. That's basically where the story ends. He goes back to Kensington Gardens and he's like, I never want to grow up and parents suck. That was basically the story, and it was just odd, and I just really didn't get it. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars because I don't know why I didn't give it a 1 out of 5 stars, because I really did like it. I probably should give it a 1 out of 5 stars, but I'm gonna give it a 2 because it is a classic, and it is Peter Pan, and I like Peter Pan, but it was a weird story, okay? It was a weird story. But yeah, we read this one in March. And the final book that I was able to finish in the month of March was Princess Charming by Jane Heller. This book was super adorable and cute and funny, and just, it was a fun read. So this follows 3 friends who are in their like late 40s, early 50s, and they have met in divorce court. So they never knew each other until they all were divorcing their husbands at the exact same time, and as women do, they teamed up and consoled each other, and now they're best friends. So they live completely different lives, they have different hobbies, they look different, they are from opposite sides of everything you can imagine, but they come together every single summer for a 7-day vacation, and this year they have decided to go on a cruise. So the main one that we follow, like our main perspective, is Elaine, and she is the one out of the group that is she's very suspicious of everything, and she's very careful. And she does not like the idea of being stuck on a boat with 2,000 strangers for 7 days. And so they get on this boat and they're like, come on, you're gonna have fun, and they get on there and they're meeting all these cute guys when Elaine overhears a phone conversation between a man on the ship and a man back in the United States, and the man in the United States has hired the man on the ship to kill his ex-wife. So as you can imagine, if you're on a boat and you are an ex-wife and your best friends that you were on there with are also ex-wives, you're going to think that they're coming after you. So Elaine has now tasked herself with finding the man that is trying to kill somebody and stop it from happening before it happens. She can't tell her friends because they'll just like say she's crazy and like laugh her off. So she's doing this alone, as well as adding on to that stress, she has met a man that she thinks she might be in love with. And who knows, he could be the killer. So this book, it was so cute. It embodied cruises. It made me feel like it was like summer and I was out on the ocean and in the Caribbean. I really felt like the urgency to figure out who it was so that she could keep people safe. I felt the need to do that. She wrote it really well to where you felt like you were in the story and you actually had a stake in it, even though you don't. And I loved the romance between Elaine and the main guy. it wasn't like most books where romance where they just turn and see each other and it's like, oh my gosh, we're in love. It was definitely like a slow burn and they got to know each other first, which I really enjoyed, because then you could see where the romance is coming from and you can really like root for them basically. And yeah, it was a great book and I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna love it that much, but I did. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was so cute. If you were looking for a summer mystery romance cute fun read, pick this up. It is so good. But yeah, this was the last book that I read in the month of March. So these are the 4 books that I was able to complete in the month of March, and as usual they will all be linked down below in the description. So if you are curious about any of these or if you want to check them out, go down there. They will be there for you. Also, let me know in the comments some things you have read during the month of March, and let me know if you have read any of these and if you agree with me or disagree with me, what you thought, as I would love to know. That is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you with another one. Bye!